I was just listening to one of my transformologists on a podcast being interviewed and describing Creatrix. And she said, oh, you just get in this really good feeling state at first, and then you're just not connected to the emotion, and then, it's like a timeline. No, it's actually not. And it really forced me to think why I created and what had to be part, what had to exist in that moment, and how was I going to get a traumatized, severely, emotionally, mentally tumultuous heart that's broken. How was I going to get that woman in under a minute, sometimes in just 15 seconds, to feel 100% safe? She was going to have to feel loved, not just protected, but no need for protection. She was going to have to feel completely whole, made from love by an intelligence that couldn't be questioned for its intention to even create them. It couldn't just be the God that we may have learnt through religion or anything like that, because, of course, where there's a religious God, there's a hell, there's fear, there's there's these things. So all of that couldn't be there. It had to be pure, untainted, the freshest, most sparkling, most loving, intended being. And that had to have no existence occur within it prior, or even within it beyond a moment where it could come in. And that vital part of the design of Creatrix, the safety element, is also the freedom to open a portal of limitless wisdom that's filterless, timeless, fearless, all love, loving, only love, only the way a mother does outside of her intention because of her design. By nature, the brain synchronized with a uterus that's job is to run the cyclical way it has to function to bring new, fresh life into this world. But because it knows bloodline, because its job is to pass on bloodline, even if it's dysfunctional, even if it's missing chromosomes, even if it's missing or, got flaws, got, crooked noses or knobby knees or whatever, of fucking course it passes on what it thinks. It passes on evolving. So if a trauma happened, and so to keep them safe, they have to be more vigilant. That eventually has taken hold of the female through inheritance, because at no point does the bloodline stop regenerating through the female. So females has all her eggs within her before she's born, completely formed for up to 4 to 5 months. That means she knows procreation, she knows creation, she knows recreation. It's her job, but it's not her job intentionally. It's so deeply, deeply, deeply unconscious because she was a fully formed egg inside her mother while her mother dwelled and dwelled as in, not mentally dwelled, but lived inside, all alive at once. The egg, inside the mother, while she's 4 to 5 months inside her mother. Now, that was her grandmother was the same story. Her grandmother was the same story. And it goes on and on and on and on. And we don't even know how far back. So it's never stopped being alive and experiencing within its own experience. The egg was in the juices of moisture of life. In the moisture between our cells, not just in our cells, is the emotions, the nervous system, the subtleties, from the memories to keep us alive. It's not it. So I had to find a way for her to be in an unquestionable state of knowing she's loved, of not ever having anything else be experienced. She's made of love, you see. And if she intended and never had her bloodline share, if she intended to create another human, a human offspring, she could only intentionally do it from love. So the first moment, the bliss state, is the safety, is that she's suspended away. She's not even in her bloodline. And that is the amazingness, I suppose, of one part of it. Because from there, right, she does nothing. She does nothing. The facilitator asks questions. She's an observer only. She's never lived. So she can't. It's impossible to be or to resonate or to understand or to feel, emotionalize, even conceptualize, perceive what the characters in the story are experiencing. And that's the job of a transformologist, is to make sure they are well in position in that first moment, because that, you see, is why also we charge what we do, and we make sure and we screen for outcome predictability. And that is readiness. It's a simple word, we call it ready. Oh, are you ready to change? No, we don't mean that. We mean, does all the stars align in her at the moment? And that's a metaphor, it's not literal. Is it a timely time in her life? Is she prepared to make the changes that only she could, right? If she had no more fucking emotional, mental excuse. And believe me, there's so much secondary gain, there's so much third gain, fourth gain, fifth gain, 100 reasons why some woman, any woman, a woman might not do just what she's asked to do in a method. So the sabotaging reason could be stronger to validate why she doesn't have to do anything herself when we're done. So that's the readiness testing we do that we're picked on a bit for, because we go there. We go, what are you influencing your brain with? Any substances, the toxicity around you, in people, in environments. Are you willing? What are you going to do? Have you already started? Are you serious? Because this is so serious that I'm going to remove your fucking excuses. So it better be that you will make those changes, or you have to do several things, literally dumb yourself down and play a game of lying to yourself that you haven't, that the inners is not, all different. Or you have to intentionally be just yuck to go through it, get what you want, and ask for your money back. And anyway, anyone like that doesn't even deserve it. So the readiness is essential too. That's not creatrix, but that's transformology. That's lasting, irreversible, profound, fast, complete change in perspective of self, others, the world, the future, life. Because we're not fucking around. So all of that's going to change. So that's what's really happening, is through the characterizations, right? Through the resolving, complete resolving, right? Of what's rooted in her, but in no way can she know at the time, right? That are traumatic moments where wisdom was missed. So we're reinstalling those. They are getting installed finally. They were missed all along. There's missed wisdom, and that's why people are stuck. That's what suffering is. It's missed lessons. For example, what happened to what people have done to you. Injustices, cruel injustices, selfishness, taking of your body, of your psyche, of just manipulation. All of this is that what happens to you doesn't actually change you. And now that's so hard. You can't tell people that. They have to come to that realization through this sort of wisdom without any filters. And there's got to be the gaps filled, you see, because every trauma is a freeze moment in a female, a freeze moment. In the freeze moment, she's having what happens in nature to some people, a wake up call. For some people, it's a traumatic PTSD event, and they are one and the same in what do you call it, in conditions that are present. They are the same, but one is inside out. And that awakening, that freeze moment where time stands still, in shock, all faculties bounce out of the body. They don't and have not returned yet. And this time warp in the time field or something happens. And there's this, it feels like there's a lot of time for life to flash before you, to see all the events of your life. People say it just before they have a car accident, don't they? That it's like all the events, major events of my whole life flashed before me. But really, it was a split second before when the car hit the bloody post, But time stands still. Well, when we have a traumatic event, time, the standing still moment of time is also a standing still of the mind. So there's no analysis from quality reasoning. And because good, bad, right, wrong, appropriate consequence, and lack of support and witnessing through all the senses of goodness, badness, rightness and wrongness and consequence, and it being dealt with, and justice and loving nurture through the pain of whatever, or when all of those things are not all in place, well, it's usually a child that has these first. There's childhood time jumps like this, shock children out of unconscious learning where they can perceive effectively of their own faculties and also be nurtured to understand, logic, and as well as have things explained and have the time to process certain emotions and things like that and experiences and events. Well, when these happen to children that don't have all of these things in the right way, it shocks, and it's like cutting a butterfly out of a cocoon when it was not finished cocooning, right? So out pops a warped, deformed butterfly, but to humans, you don't see the broken wings. You don't see the unformed, not fully formed wings. So what that does is then that gets passed on down the bloodline, because there's no, the 3 generations are experiencing that, right? 3 generations experience that. Now, that lack of wisdom gaining is rippling forward. And so there's all these gaps, and that's where you'll see somebody so traumatically or mentally, I'm going to say incapacitated, but, like out of whack, out of balance. I mean, we also have fucking hormones to deal with too, and this now, we have as much chance of getting to the root and resolving our mental health issues and emotional health issues as women, as females, as a male does, by just CBD, So cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, or any other fucking RTT or any other technique out there, timeline therapy, TLT, any fucking P, all of them of getting you a male who wakes up with a woody in the morning for any of those techniques to work on that. Just because she says, get that thing down. Is that enough? Well, that's when women are told, when you can't fucking logically heal emotions with the conscious mind. Or even, and you're going to hate this, oh my God, you can't even do it energetically or through body healing alone. And I'll tell you why, and you're going to argue with me, but it will reassemble somewhere else. It will regenerate. Why? Because of the missed wisdom in the bloodline, and that is that. So I'm calling it wisdom, but all it is time warp moments of either an inability or a non-opportunity or a poor environment or a conscious mind that wasn't ready to become conscious yet, to process any of those things. That we'll call it wisdom, we call it life learnings, we call it all of these words, but they're simply processing as a human. And because these time gaps happened, Creatrix is a beautiful, beautiful, safe, actually even can be enjoyable way to just simply get all of that wisdom back reinstalled in the bloodline, metaphorically, of that female, because she only knows. That's her lingo. That's her unconscious. Is the whole bloodline's unconscious, because she, like I'm trying to say, 3 generations. So anyway, that is a fucking waffle and a half. But it was to explain and you wouldn't know it, but it was to explain the love element that's missing for a woman to even be able to close her fucking eyes in the presence of another person at all, let alone by a male, right? With the historic, like it or not, argue till you're blue in the face, say females don't exist, that all females are just whoever wants to be. If you can do all of that stuff, you can say all of the stuff. You can say these therapies, you can say this and that, and all modalities are equal. All modalities have a different purpose, but I'll tell you this one thing. If she does not come back to bloodline wholeness at the bloodline level in her psyche, and the wisdom go in as knowing, not as fucking words, not as current person, because it will go into the head only, sit in the newest brain that's only been there 1 million years anyway, right? She needs it. She needs it from what could be the beginning of a bloodline, which could be the reptilian brain level before even this. Are you ready? The midbrain, the limbic system, which is larger in females. And that apparently was possibly, and no one can know, can they, evolutionarily designed that way so that she wouldn't would spurt this love, this oxytocin, right, would rush as she gave birth and go into and be directed at this baby. And that, even if it was the ugliest monkey baby, she would lie down her life for it. And that is the kind of love that comes, that is able to come again from that woman to release as hormones, which, by the way, get depleted because she has to release them all day, every day if she's got stress, because guess what? We're not made for it. We're not made for the levels of stress of today. And so we would, like acid on meat, we would not survive with the levels of stress. So we release our oxytocin and use it all up in that hypervigilance, in that simply just trying to calm ourselves fucking down. So when all of this wisdom is regained and the bloodline is restored, we are back to wholeness. We're back to our design. And guess what happens? We release oxytocin. And we are a fucking love generator already by design. So when we reset that, one woman, if I was to transform one man and heal him, I'm not picking on males. Look, it would not ripple out of him to the scope and ripple effect distancing that a woman would. So the fastest way to heal this planet, I believe, is this. And it is through the women. If we can set the lead hers free and they can go and women can just set each other fucking free. That's the new model. That's what the limitlessness zone is meant to do. It's meant to set women free so they don't end up needing psychology. So anyway, that is our fastest way. And I'm going to teach men and explain and educate men that they are the beneficiaries of this project. Because if they can be just taught, they don't have to be at the helm of our solutions. They don't have to be the solver, fixer, that, innovator, leader. They don't have to in this one case, but they have to let us. If they let us, if they trust that they don't have to fathom what the fuck I'm talking about, but they can just trust to let us help ourselves, then we can decongest a system that's under such ridiculous strains that we've gone from being twice as likely. There's 2 times the number, 10 years ago, 2 times the number that bums on seats, putting their hand up for mental health, burdening on the system that can't even fix them anyway, were females. And now it's 3 times since the cancelling of women, and we've lost so much funding. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, as women get behind the men, as the gaslight becomes the ultimate, turning us on each other and making sure that we never get help. Instead, let us. Creatrix can be delivered by women to women. Yep, in swaps, but it must must be guarded, must not be abused. It cannot be abused. It has been abused already through carelessness, and I'm not going to let it. It's better to die with me, honest to God, than go out there and be in the hands of men and women who do not respect that they don't have to be the guru. They don't have to be an industry person. They don't have to be an academic. They don't have to. They gotta just trust in every woman. Every woman needs the gaps filled in her bloodline for her to be whole and healthy in an emotionally mental capacity, regardless of cyclical hormones, regardless of all of everything else. But when that bloodline is restored, she sets those spirits free of her ancestors. And guess what? She's the ripple effect. She's the beneficiary. And then she passes it on because she's a light. She is not here to love you. She is love. And that's the crime. The crime is that we've shut down love. And everybody's fighting, and everybody's lost, and everybody's broken, and everybody's the guru. But the truth is, every woman must get her own, but it will only ever happen through a safe container. And all women have to know this is guarded, and it is delivered safely, and it is delivered in these wisdom gaining schools that have facilitation, and then facilitation of the facilitators, like this total zone of positive intention with the mission at a global level, fully understanding that the future generations of bloodlines is what the fuck is what we're dabbling with. And so that is what we want to make sure is a positive ripple impact, effect, and transformation of a positive kind. And I do dream, and I see it, and given the support, the right support, funding for all of the stuff that's got to happen, given everything, the right set of conditions, I see a future where girls, when they go through an initiation, boys can go through theirs, but when that girl leaves high school, right, she is completely creatrix the shit out of from everything that happened to her. Then when she gets pregnant, 2 generations later, we'll get the benefit. So we must be on this. So if we can heal a little girl in every woman, in every nana, and we can have the men allow this and understand it's in no way a threat at all. In fact, that gift of a woman transformed, healed, back to wholeness and love, I think that could be with enough backing and enough people, right? And when I say support, I don't mean having to do anything. I mean just say, hey, yeah, right? That, if imagine just countries, right? Just imagine them all going, what? 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 Love. And we don't have to fight, and we don't have to, we just have to let and don't, you know, and let the females, the women, and anyone who wants to be fucking called a woman, doesn't even matter. Just let everybody, right, be whole, and let us females, though, with a uterus, reset and send it out. Just let us do that, please. Just let us be. If you can let us be, we'll are together, and we'll just all are, and we can all just get back to nirvana. I know it just sounds so silly, but it's not as if I don't have a fucking solution. It's not as if there's not a method and a way now. All we need to do is get out of the way. Just get out of my way. So all you have to do, you don't resist, just don't push, just don't argue, just don't question, just don't need to know how, just nothing, just trust, have faith, and let. Just don't not let. That's all. Because it's happening anyway, as long as you don't block it. And what is it? It is love. So yeah, wow, that's just like, I just went off my nana, didn't I? But you know what? That happened. What's the time? 3:12 a.m. But I was sitting in, I'm doing this speech, and I've just been sitting here, and I've been letting come what's coming, and I've been following a trail, doing things and words for the website and business cards, and what is the quote, and what is the thing, and what is the, you know, it's her own psychology being allowed for her to do it in a safe container, knowing she only needs to get her own fucking wisdom. She only needs to pick up the bits that got missed. And that is all. And anyway, I'm so excited. I'm so excited when I just even talk about it. And I'm praying the whole time I'm doing this. Not that I have a God, but I do think that it's coming through me. And I think that we all have it. And what's coming from me. So, but it's not me. It is. But we all have we all are just, let's say God, whatever, expressing. And that is it. So if we can express without resistance and questioning and fault, then as causationists, as causal, you know, if you touch a piece of paper, guess what? There's a ripple effect of that, right? If you know, touch a prickle bush, the whole prickle shut down. You not just the effect of, you're not just that. So we can use our humanness of and our brain for better things than to fight and argue about shit and what something means, like a fucking woman. I mean, let's instead just, and I don't say love one another because you don't even know if you like them, but let's do it, and the only ripple effect will be what love can create. There's no other outcome. When you return women back to wholeness, you have recalibrated at that level of all layers of the brain, which is the body, then what do you get? Which is the soul, which is the spirit. It's all one. We're not all the bits. We don't need modalities for different fucking bits. We need to re-perceive as the perceivers, not the perceived. We need to re-perceive as the perceivers through the purest of filters, and the only thing that can come from that is good and positive.